So Earth as an element is more oriented towards what is practical, tangible, what makes sense, what is here, the physical world, the material world, the body, food, all of this real stuff. Welcome to Promethea Astrology. My name is Alina, and I am the astrologer for creatives and changemakers with a physics BS from Yale. Today we're talking about the elements, and specifically Earth in astrology, because the second sign in the Zodiac is Taurus. Started with fire, started with Aries, and then we're moving to Earth. This is a part of a series that I'm doing where I'm going into each of the core fundamental kind of archetypal underpinnings in astrology. I did a playlist on the planets, and I did a video on gender and the three modalities, and now we're getting into the elements, and then I'll go through the zodiac signs, the houses, and the aspects, and then we can start actually getting into some more interesting things. But I wanted to lay a foundation here, so in case you missed something or something comes up that you don't understand, you can refer back to one of these core foundational videos and hopefully learn what you need to learn. So what is Earth in astrology? The elements are something that you'll find in many different schools of thought and philosophies. So you'll see elements in Chinese medicine, elements come up in yogic philosophy, also in tarot and many other traditions. And much of the symbolism behind these elements is the same regardless of the culture, which is quite interesting to me. This video, I'll talk about Earth more broadly and then get into how it shows up in each of the Earth signs. So Earth as an element is more oriented towards what is practical, tangible, what makes sense, what is here, the physical world, the material world, the body, food, all of this real stuff. It's also one of the feminine elements. Fire is masculine, as is air, and earth and water are always feminine, although they are feminine in different ways. So the shadow side of Earth can be that it can be a little bit rigid or stubborn or unchanging. There's a positive and shadow side to everything in astrology. Each sign, element, aspect, all of the symbols have two sides to them. There's two sides to every coin. Nothing is just good and nothing is just bad. So to get more specific with it, to start with Taurus. Taurus is fixed Earth. Each of the elements will have one of the three modalities of its kind in the zodiac. So there is cardinal earth, fixed earth, and mutable earth. Taurus is fixed earth. And if you want to know more about what it means to be fixed, you can watch my video on that. So fixed earth. This is the modality that makes the most sense for Earth in the first place. Earth's nature is to be solid, stable, fixed, unchanging. It is the slowest of the elements, the heaviest, such as Taurus. Taurus is also ruled by Venus, which is our planet of beauty, love, romance, harmony, sensuality, all of these things. So Taurus is quite oriented towards the material, worldly pleasures and feeling good, embodying what pleases them. They tend towards foods that are very tasty and comfort and coziness, and it's not simplicity, but they are authentic and have integrity. This is the fixed nature to their physical material, Earth, pleasures and desires, ruled by Venus. Sometimes Taurus likes gardening as well, and literally being in the earth or being outside. And on the shadow side, Taurus can be a bit stubborn, inflexible, unchanging, particularly with the things that they like and don't like. Venus. Taurus is also the bull, famous for its stubborn nature. But you like what you like, and that's also a strength. Then we have Virgo, mutable earth. So mutable earth is not the modality that is the most well suited for Earth. Earth is not the most changing element. It's slow and heavy and rigid. Mutable is changeable, adaptable, go with the flow, which is not the nature of Earth generally. So this causes a little bit of internal tension with Virgo. In a way, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is also our planet of kind of logic, reasoning, breaking things down, analyzing things, the details, and communication. So Virgos are master editors and generally analyzing, scrutinizing things of the material world. Very good at getting things done. making sure all of the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Virgo is very skilled at navigating and adapting to the real world, all of the physical complexities and kind of technologies and things that we must do. Also tend to be strong with their routines, their health, things like food, supplements, herbs, routines, also the physical body, the way they present and express themselves. And the way that this becomes a challenge for them, or the shadow side of this, is that sometimes it can be harder for Virgos to really connect with or trust things like their emotions or intuitions. Those might seem silly or unreasonable for such a practical, rational, earthly, logical sign, which is also reflected in the way that Virgo is opposite to Pisces. Earth is always opposite to water. And the way that that is reflected in Taurus is that Taurus is opposite to Scorpio. Taurus, the earth, opposite to Scorpio. Fixed earth, opposite to fixed water, Scorpio. And the way that this is opposite for Taurus is that Taurus is more oriented towards like the physical things, which from a Scorpio perspective is more shallow, earthly material, whereas Scorpio is very much oriented towards the depths, what is deep. Also, Taurus, Venus, opposite to Scorpio, ruled by Mars. Opposite planetary energies. Venus wanting to keep things beautiful and harmonious and light and lovely. Scorpio, Mars wanting to go deep into the hard, difficult places, emotionally in particular, as a water sign. And then lastly, we have Capricorn, cardinal earth. So I think of Capricorn as like raising mountains, erecting structures. I think of Capricorn as like the archetypal businessman, really interested in building things to last. Ruled by Saturn, our lord of time and structure and discipline. So Saturn is quite calculated and in it for the long haul and interested in things for longevity. Why build something to last? We need to prepare for the potential threat of scarcity and the hardship that could come. And we need to be aware of the real threats that exist and plan physically around how to prevent bad things from happening that could. This is the nature of Saturn, and also Earth, a Earth version of Saturn, and cardinal being oriented towards initiating, getting it started, getting things off the ground, building something because it's Earth, something physical, material, something that makes sense, that is practical, to particularly ward against the threats of scarcity, Saturn. So I'm trying to illustrate how you can give your delineations, but then connect them back to these archetypal underpinnings. So we're not just spouting off any kind of feelings that you might have about Capricorns, but we can connect that. And also when we connect things to these core foundational philosophical principles underneath of everything, then we can also draw out the strengths and weaknesses of those things, because we already have a whole framework around what the strengths and weaknesses of each of these pieces are. So this can give us insight into things that you might be inclined or strong with and things that you might need to work on. And that's how we use astrology for self-development. So the shadow side of cardinal earth and earth in this Capricorn way is that Capricorn will not be so oriented towards emotional things. Again, earth opposite to water. Cancer is opposite to Capricorn, the mother, nurturer, supporter. Those are not things that Capricorn is inclined towards. Capricorn's way of taking care of things is in this earthly, physical way. I have planned my job out. I know that I have the money that I'll need. We have the structure, the business in place to take care of us, but it won't be in this felt emotional connection. That will not be what the earth signs are so inclined towards or strong with necessarily, unless, of course, you could be someone who maybe has an earth sun, but then everything else in your chart is water. So then you might be a more watery person after all. So this is not necessarily to speak to you and say just because you are a Capricorn, you are this way. You are not just Capricorn. Everyone has all 12 zodiac signs present in their chart and will have different aspects that are constellated in the zodiac for them, correlating with different parts of life at least. And probably you have different planets and angles and things that are different than just one element or sign. So lastly, I think it's important to note about Earth and elements in general is that zodiac signs that share the same element in a whole sign system are all trine to each other. So things are in aspect when they share one of these qualities in common. So for instance, Signs that are sextile to each other are sharing the same gender. Signs that are square to each other share the same quadruplicity. Signs that are opposite to each other share the same gender and quadruplicity. And signs that are trine to each other share the same element. And the trine is the most harmonious aspect. So if you highlighted and drew a line between all of the earth signs, it would make a triangle. And this is a very harmonious, positive, supportive aspect, the most positive. So it's very easy for these signs to see each other's earthly nature and relate to that, connect on that, be kind of friends because of that. So the numerological and geometrical configuration behind the elements has meaning and significance as well. So that's all I'll say about the elements for today. If you would like to support my work, you could subscribe to my channel here. You can also follow me on Instagram at Promethea_astrology, or go to my website and book a reading with me if you would like. I offer 60 or 90-minute consultations getting into the birth chart as a symbol of who you are, and also analyzing things that could be coming up in your future if you book a 90-minute session with me, where we can analyze what cycles you're in, when you might expect that to change, when you might experience career peaks, and other things related to your past and future, which I find to be particularly exciting and interesting. So I would love to talk to you. Also, feel free to drop a comment or a question if you would like. If you have a lot of earth signs, a lot of earthy nature to you, I would love to hear about that. I would love to hear if you feel like I missed anything, or if you just have anything you want to add. Let us know so we can all learn together. You are the authority on earth if you are of the earth sign in your astrology. I personally don't have a lot of earth, so maybe you can tell. And if you live in Philadelphia, you could also come to a workshop with me. I offer in-person workshops where we kind of go over different astrological concepts, and I do little mini readings and we analyze your birth charts, and it's just a really wonderful way to get together as a group of people. So let me know. I'd be happy to tell you what workshops I have coming up. Thank you for being here.